All right, welcome everybody to the U.S. Legends Open Series here live from Lime Rock. Ooh-wee, do we have a barn burner on store for you guys. This is going to be some fun. Welcome everybody to the U.S. Legends Open Series right here from Lime Rock. My name is Ryan Ezell, and by my side always is David Edwards. David, welcome, brother. Here we are doing some road racing.
Oh man, I'm looking forward to it, man. This is going to be interesting in these cars, to say the least.
Oh, you are not lying, my friend. These guys are going to be doing local cautions only. Unlimited fast repairs, unlimited tires. But you know what? It's the name of the game. When the timing never stops, you can take all the fast repairs you want and all the tires you want. All you're doing is just losing time. As we come to the conclusion of the open practice right here. So what we're about to go see is about to go watch some of these guys try to throw down some of the qualifying times. David, what do you think the key to tonight is? We've watched Ryan Bean, quote-unquote, Dell Lives, and Will Brinkley come home with the two first wins. What do you think the key to tonight is?
I mean, the major number one off the bat is going to be keeping it on the track. I mean, these cars are touchy as is. So if you're dipping it off on a curb, dipping it off in the grass, you're just asking for trouble. Second thing, big thing, is just keep it under control. I mean, we've talked to the guys during practice, and they have stated over and over again how twitchy these cars are. You know, most of these times these cars are built going for left hand with weight, but now you're going left and right weight transfer. So you're just going to be all over the place here. You just got to be real consistent, real smooth with everything you do.
Yeah, you're right. You know, we watched several of these guys as we were kind of flip through some of the drivers here in the U.S. Legends Open Series taking their qualifying laps. Now, remember, they got to drive this 1.5-mile track up in the northwest mountains of Connecticut. They got to go all the way around the track before they even start time. So road courses are never fun, folks. It is just, it really is. It's grueling because these guys have so much to tend with here on road courses. And as David mentioned, they're really twitchy. So it's not a lot about sliding through us. We watched the Seafoam Green Styrofoam Cup of 34 of Nolan Potter here, making it look somewhat easy, but you see how much turn he had in those front wheels. I mean, he had 45 degrees of turn and that car was still going straight, David.
Yeah, it's crazy. And now I'm watching some speeds during practice. They're reaching upwards of 110 here at the end of the Sam Posey straightaway.
Wow.
And then having to get hard on it going into the Big Bend right-hander. It's unbelievable some of the speeds they're carrying here.
Well, and not only that, when they have that much turn in the wheels, how much are they eating those tires up is really what it boils down to. I mean, these guys, you know, we watched Jerry Culver here in the Black Rifle Coffee 13 just go through, and it just takes a little bit, I mean, just the tiniest little bit of contact with the grass and those wide tires, that huge power to weight ratio, and you're off sliding in the grass. But the good thing is you watch him, he did a great job. He regained control, did an incredible job, got that thing back on the track. But before we get too far into this, I need to mention a couple of sponsors that are, you know, hugely important to this league. Now, here at Evolution Racing Network, we've got our own set of sponsors that help put this on board. But the most important sponsors we have are our leagues that ask us to come in and showcase their product. So we'll get to those later. But right now, the most important thing is talking about some of the sponsors here that help make the U.S. Legends Series what it is today. And one of those being the Fox Hills Lawn Care. You know, they donated some money to be split into the top three at the end of the season. Also, in that logo down in the bottom left, you've got Potter County Diggers. You need anything found under the earth? Not too far down. They're not oil diggers, folks. They're just digging a little shallow ground. These guys are your guys up in Potter County Diggers. You can find them on YouTube at Potter County Diggers. They also donated some money to be split between the top three. And then the worst kept secret on iRacing. I know I'm about to get ridiculed by David, but I'm going to say it anyways. Okay, I'm just do it. Doug and Sue Rothery, parents of Harold, and wife Linda, wife of Harold Rothery, are silent partners here. Okay, they're silent sponsors. You didn't hear me say that. David said it, and I will deny anything else that goes above and beyond that. It's just the way it is, folks. But
we appreciate everybody, even
absolutely.
Silent Partners, everybody sticking in here and putting it up for these guys. That we just, it makes it worth the while for sure.
Absolutely. Well, before we get this grid going, we got to pay homage to our great country and play our national anthem. We'll be right back, folks, with all the action.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land?
All right, folks, welcome back to Lime Rock Park up here in Connecticut as we are just about to wrap up practice here for the U.S. Legend Series. Man, this is going to be an exciting one. For the last 2 weeks, we have been at Southern National and the Nashville Fairgrounds, a tiny little quarter-mile Legends track. David, recap us, man. Tell us what the last 2 weeks has been like, because I don't think a lot of people realize that are new to Evolution Racing Network and to the U.S. Legend Series here on Monday nights. They don't realize how much fun they have missed if they are brand new to tonight. So catch us up on the last 2 weeks.
Last week, I mean, that was probably the best race of the year so far, even though it being the second one. I mean, Brinkley and Bean coming down the line, beating and banging off of four. Crossing the line, I think there was like 700s between them, with Bean getting the win. And then the week before, Brinkley pulled his normal stuff and spun it out early and worked his way back through the field and pulled off the win there. I mean, it's been progressively better every week, so I can only imagine what Lime Rock's going to put on this week.
Oh, yeah, you ain't lying. And not only that, we were talking last week on the broadcast. We're like, I just wonder if this is Mr. Brinkley's MO. Start on the pole, fall back to the tail end of the field to make it look like he's quote-unquote having trouble, and then work his way back through the field to bring out, even though he didn't win in that second race, he came within 7/100th of a second of winning. So he made it exciting for sure. So we'll have to see how it plays out tonight. If he could turn right-handers as good as he turns left-handers, because I know for a fact we have some road course ringers, as we'd like to say. And the guy on the pole right now is Ryan Bean, a.k.a. Dell Lives, and he is a road course ringer. But look who's starting right behind him, David.
Yeah, but let's hope that the guys in the field can pick it up, because I mean he's got a half second over Will there. But Will don't have the luxury this week of spinning it and losing it, getting a caution.
No.
With these local corners, local cautions only. If he loops it, he's just losing time, and who knows if he'll get it back.
Yeah. Well, and let me explain to everybody, for the first-time viewers or somebody that's not familiar with road course racing and what local cautions mean. Those are pretty simple. It means that they will not throw a full course caution. Short of the entire field stacking up on the start, you will not see yellow flags with long pace laps where everybody gets recollected. They get an opportunity to pit, come back out. So that means if you've got a stellar road course driver, somebody that is just consistent, keeps all four wheels on the track and does not run off, doesn't have contact, and they keep going, the cautions are yellow, or the cautions are local, meaning they're only to that area of the track. So it's only going to show on that driver's screen that there is an incident ahead. So be aware, it does not slow the pace of the race down. So as we come to the conclusion of qualifying here, our qualifying grid is set. We'll go over that here in a second. So these guys, I am 110% on board with David, what he said. It's all about being consistent and keeping all four wheels on the track and keeping it off the contact of another car or the wall, the grass, or anything else. That is the keys to winning tonight. As we come to the conclusion of qualifying, which means one thing, it's time to go racing, baby, here on Evolution Racing Network. So let's bring up the grid and find out who is going to be starting up front. Now, we've talked about this several times. It's no surprise, boys and girls. You got the road course ringer, Ryan Bean. Dell lives in the 28 on the pole right there. And shortly right behind him, let's change something up here because we need to be able to see what everybody's time was here. You've got Ryan Bean on the pole. Outside of him, Will Brinkley. That's your first two season opening winners right there. Casey Kuntz in the 31, which missed the season opener, but had a great showing last week. Nolan Potter in the 34 Styrofoam Cup. Kevin Dowd in starting fifth in the 98. And Bob Fitzpatrick Jr. in the 3 car starting in sixth. David, take us the rest of the way through the field. And as we do that, I'm going to throw the grid up on the screen.
Starting
Sixth.
seventh in the sixth, you got 3 of Fitzpatrick Jr. My apologies. And the number 3 there looks like a Dale Earnhardt throwback. And the Jegs 4, you got Harold Rothery starting 7th. And the Pennzoil 27, you got Mark Thibodeau starting 8th. Robert Fitzpatrick Sr. starting 9th in the 48. 10th will be the 13 of Jerry Culver. And rounding out the field will be the 17 of Kevin Zabladou and starting 12th.
That's right. And that's your starting grid right there, folks. And let's just take a look, because this is going to get interesting real quick. We've got 26 laps here at Lime Rock, 1.5 mile track, if I am remembering that correctly.
Yep, 7 turns.
Yep, and that's on the classic layout. And guys, this is basically Lakeville, Connecticut, the Northwest Hills of Connecticut, beautiful countryside. You don't have a ton of elevation change in this track. Now, you do have a little bit of elevation change, but not a ton, which is where you get to see a lot of weight distribution in these cars kind of falling out. Now, what you're watching right here is you're watching the grid. We'll be following that iRacing.com pace truck all the way around the field. And as they come back down that long straightaway, that pace truck will dip off. They'll get the green flag and they will be taken off. Now, before we get this thing kicked off, we need to thank Potter County Diggers and Fox Hills Lawn Care as our 2 primary sponsors for this league. You're going to always find them on YouTube and Facebook, respectively. So make sure you go check them out, see if they can help service you in any of your needs that you might have for them. But these guys are getting their tires heated up. Now remember, they only have 5.3 gallons. That's 100% fuel here, David. So who do you think's your pick tonight? I want to hear your pick now, and then we'll come back in about halfway point and see if it changes up any.
I mean, it's hard to go against the 28 or the 47, but Casey Kuntz has been putting down. I watched him in practice there. He's putting down some good times. So I'm not going to pick the past 2 winners. I'm going to go on a limb and pick with the guy starting 3rd.
Woohoo! Oh, Casey Kuntz. It's
Yeah,
hard
I
for
think
me to go against that, man.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to pick the normal pick, but just
Oh, sure.
let's pick a dark horse here.
All right, and as you see, the iRacing.com pace truck dips off pit road, which means we're about to go green. You're going to see the pedal to the metal. We are going racing at Lime Rock Park. Got our 2 last week's winners side by side, but here's what could happen at road course racing, boys and girls. Anything can. So that means your leaders can take the whole front half of the field out, and you can have a dark horse come up here and win. As you already see, David's picking the 31, Casey Coots make his way up to second and chasing down the 28 of Ryan Bean.
Yeah, these guys are doing everything they can to get single file quick here as they
Yes,
go
they
up,
are.
going up towards the hill. This is the one point of the track right here. As you watch Ryan cross it, is the car's going to get super light over that hill crest. It's going to be
Oh,
a
and
handful.
we got some trouble.
Looks
Two
like
of
the
them.
Fitzpatrick's. 2 Fitzpatricks around.
Woo! What do you do when you don't want a Fitzpatrick on your race? You take them both out. Nah, just kidding here, folks. We got Bob Fitzpatrick, Sr. and Jr.
Oh,
and
Junior's
Junior.
rolling it.
No! Oh, no! Oh, that is horrible. He was just trying to turn around, folks. And just like that, your night can change. Oh, man.
Looks like these guys up front got singled out pretty quick, though, after that, coming over top of the hill there. They didn't want to have what happened to the Fitzpatricks happen to them for sure. But
Well,
Brinkley's
Oh.
stepping up here to Kuntz, trying to catch him, looking to the inside here as they come up the hill.
Yeah, you know, we talked about earlier in the race, we talked to the co-owner, Kevin Zabledell, that gave us a little insight. Said, man, these cars are so twitchy. And David mentioned that in pre-race. But we didn't see how twitchy they were. Bob Fitzpatrick Jr.'s car, Bob Fitzpatrick Jr.'s car, he was just trying to turn around and try to goose it a little bit like so used to in a stock car. That thing just tipped right over.
Yeah, he just one of those. Just that was unbelievable to see.
It was crazy. As we are riding behind here, the 31 of Casey Kuntz with the 47 of Will Brinkley right behind him. But Casey he's not letting it up, man. He's like, hey, if you want it, come and get it, but I ain't going to give it to you easy. And right behind him, you got the 34 of Nolan Porter in our favorite Styrofoam Cup from 1998. And then Kevin Dowd in that Potter County Diggers inspired paint job 98 right there.
Oh, there goes Nolan off.
Oh.
Right there. Just got a little loose, it sounded like.
Yes, he did. But you know what? Check it out. Didn't lose a ton of time there. Oh, Mark Thibodeau and Jerry Culver. Oh, man, they were trying to get around him. And these cars are geared so high at these road courses, they don't get going up fast, do they? Let's go take another look at that real quick from Jerry Culver's perspective, David.
Yeah, they got busy real quick there. And just, Potter coming off track trying to get back up to speed. And Mark and just didn't have anywhere to go. And Jerry got off track, and that was it.
Oh, man, that is tough break for Jerry Culver in the 13. But here's the thing. Get back up to speed and just keep hitting your marks because you never know what's going to happen in this race. I don't think anybody will come out of this race without contact points just because.
I don't think so either.
Yeah. And here's the thing, a lot of these road courses are 2 to 10 miles long, 2 to 8 miles long, at Nürburgring Green. So they're used to having a little dust up. These Legends cars can take a little bit of bumping and grinding and lose a fender here or there and still do well. And we talked about it at the pre-race. It's all about consistency. That's what it means, is keeping all 4 tires on the asphalt, staying consistent, and making sure that you don't have problems. That was a tough break for Mark Thibodeau, especially for Jerry Culver, but I don't think it's over for him because you may have other guys get wrecked out.
No, and speaking of consistency, I mean, if you look, I know we haven't seen much of him because he's out there, but Ryan Bean is out to almost a 3-second lead currently on the part and growing as we speak. He's just out there just turning laps, just Mr. Consistent. So it's without a major issue, pretty much say it's his to lose tonight.
Yeah, I agree with you. If he continues on at this pace, the question that we all have is, what is it going to be like when the tires really start wearing down. You have so much power to weight ratio on a short wheelbase on these cars. They're quick to get up, go, and turn, but when the tires start wearing down, the heat starts building up in these cars. Does it change the drivability? We'll just have to wait and see as we see the 28 just passed the 3 car of Bob Fitzpatrick Jr. He wisely just moved out of the way to let him go, but he is staying right behind him. So, you know, it's anybody's race. We're only 6 laps into this deal, and really anybody can win this, because if you think about it, if the top couple of guys have an issue, wreck out, blow their motor, do something that is, you know, beyond the normal circumstances of a race, now you're talking about 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th place coming up. And
at that point, it's just open.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. At that point, if something happens up front, you know, it's anybody's game from then on out. Which, I mean, I was noticing watching some of the timing and scoring around the track. Looks like Casey's just gapped himself a little bit from Will Brinkley there in 3rd, and has a little bit more breathing room than he had earlier.
Yeah, he does. And we're actually going to throw up what's called the battle box over here in the bottom right corner and take a look at their. Let's just take a look and see where we at. This will show it right here. Now you see the numbers are kind of discombobulated, but that's where they run on their track in relation. So, you know, you've got Ryan Bean right there, the 3rd one down. That kind of shows that he's got a healthy lead above the rest of these guys. But, you know, Will Brinkley, Casey Kuntz, they are holding strong with the rest of the field. And Bob Fitzpatrick Jr. gets out of the way for Will Brinkley in the 47 right there. Which, you know what's smart? You don't want to be the reason somebody else has a bad race when you already had one. But, man, this is
nobody
still,
wants to be that guy.
no, but this is still halfway through. And you got to pick your guy. You picked that guy right there, the 31 of Casey Kuntz. I'm going to pick my guy. I think a dark horse tonight, somebody that has the ability, has the chance to do this, but just maybe hasn't been talked about a whole lot on a road course side of things. I'm going with Nolan Potter. I'm going with our favorite Styrofoam Cup. We saw him have a little mishap, get off into the grass. He made no contact. He didn't lose a whole lot of positions. He was running 3rd. He's fell back to 5th. But again, it's anybody's game. He can make up to 13, 14 seconds in no time if there's mishaps up front. And who knows? There may or may not be. We'll just have to wait and see. And it looks like we've got another little incident. I'm getting word from our producer. Let's go back and take a quick look and see what happened with the Bob Fitzpatrick Jr. in the 3 car. He's been doing a good job keeping out of. You see, he's got a little toe issue there on that right
left
front.
front's a little, yeah.
Oh,
Ooh,
just lost it.
Yeah, coming up over the hill there, the rear end got light, and it just come around on him.
Yep. And, you know, it's just part of it. You know, that's the few little elevation changes that this track has, and one of them is right there, and that's probably the most dramatic elevation change when they go from a low to a high. It almost right there, as you see at the top of your screen, kind of gives you a little jump. The suspension probably expands the most at that point. Wouldn't you say, David?
Yeah. If you watch closely on some of these shots that we have, you can watch the car, the entire body just lift off. And if the guys are going fast enough, they're even liable to pick a wheel up, depending on how they've got their suspension set, that it just releases, it completely unloads there as they go over. So it is the most vulnerable point for these cars.
Yeah. And when they're loose like that, you better have a good straight line and a good solid patch for those tires to grab. And as always, folks, you see that ticker rolling across the bottom. That is nothing new to Evolution Racing Network. We've had it for the last month or so. It is the pit ticker. So if you see one of your drivers that dips to pit road, either under caution or under green flag circumstances, that means that they will populate on the bottom. It'll tell you how long they're on pit road. So to kind of give you an idea, if your favorite driver is not being shown on the camera, you might want to look down at the bottom and see if they're in the pits. As we go on board right here with Mark Thibodeau and some of these guys, and Kevin Zabledell right behind them. right there, running consistent. Our cars look nice and clean. But one thing I do want to do, I want to get on board with the leader, and I want to go through what they see, David. And I want you to take us through a lap. As soon as he comes around right here, we're going to go on board with him. Take us through a lap, what it's like right here at Lime Park.
All right, right here, he's coming into the big left-hander here, and then it'll be a left-hander into an immediate right-hander. Then you're coming up over the hill where we talked about the cars getting light. Or, wait, I'm in the wrong part of the crash. Here we go down a little short straight here. My apologies, I was a little mixed up there. And then to come into a right-hander here, then this is where it gets light.
Yep.
And you can just see him just, hold the wheel as straight as possible as he can. Any little input there is going to ruin it. You're coming down through the west bend here and under Bailey Bridge, and you'll be in a little downhill section here into another right-hander, and then they just open it up right here on the Sam Posey Straight. They're pushing, like I said, upwards of 110. With the tire wearing off, depending on how good of a run they get, it may be a little less, but practice they were turning 110, 112 until they got hard on the brakes down here into this right-hander.
Yep. And that's the point right there where so many drivers struggle with this track is that turn one. And it's just almost like Watkins Glen. Watkins Glen, the worst turn on the track for most drivers, turn one. And it's because it's the sharpest turn taking you into the rest of the field. And these guys are they're doing everything they can to keep these cars on edge without breaking it loose.
Yeah, these guys are making it look incredibly easy. I've driven one here before, and it's what they're doing is no easy feat at all.
Especially
these guys cars. These guys are fighting the wheel left and right, doing everything they can. Any kind of little input, worried about it. So what you see here is the smoothness. It's a white knuckle headache in the car.
Yeah. And with no cautions, there's no chance for you to restack the field, take a breather, go into the pits, get some repairs done, get a fresh set of shoes. It's foot to the floor nonstop for 26 laps around this 7-turn track. So these guys are racing for every inch as we are sitting here watching this battle between the 27 Pennzoil car of Mark Thibodeau and the 17 of Kevin Zabledo as he takes it, gets a beautiful run off that last corner, makes it a drag race down. Go back there. And there we go. Watch him into that sharp right-hand turn. And Kevin Zabledo will take that spot. As we see the 3-car, man, I feel for Bob Fitzpatrick Jr. He has had a night tonight nobody wants to have.
No, and it just, after the opening week and what happened there, and then unable to attend last week, you just really want the guy to have a good night. Come out here, put some laps down, and just be in contention. It's just, tonight's just not going to be his night tonight.
Yeah, it is. And, there's just some tracks that it's just not your track. It's not your time. And you know what? The best thing you can do is just get out there and click the laps off and just hope this thing finishes out quickly. Because, look, boys and girls, we're only 12 laps left into this thing. And as you guys know, the last 2 weeks, these races have flown by. First race, we even forgot to mention, we're a lousy broadcast crew, by the way. We forgot to mention our own damn sponsors, both for the racing network that we run and for the league. So I'm shocked they had us come back, the next week and tonight. But
yeah, we got a few slaps on the wrist for that one.
Yeah, that we did. Rusty Modesty flew all the way down here to Oklahoma City and stuck his size 12 up, and said, "Don't make it happen again." I said, "Yes, sir, it won't happen again." Therefore, I had to fly to South Carolina and do the same to David because, poop rolls downhill. So it is what it is, folks. But no, man, we have a blast. Absolute blast calling the races for these guys, but they just absolutely fly by. And with that being said, folks, we're going to take it to a little side-by-side. Y'all won't miss any of the action right here on Evolution Racing Network, and we'll be right back after these words from your sponsor.
the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
All right, folks, welcome back to Lime Rock Park up here in beautiful Northwest Connecticut as we're here live with the U.S. Legends Open Series. And, folks, I like these. This series has been and brought us some of the most incredible side-by-side racing, the door banging, a 7/100th drag race to the finish line last week. But it's Gappity Gapville for Ryan Bean tonight. I got to give a lot of props where props are due, because the guy that has made his way all the way up to second place is this man right here. With 31 at Casey Kuntz, David Edwards, our own broadcaster's pick, has made his way around Will Brinkley up to second place. But my question is, David, with 9 laps to go, is there any time left for him to be able to get up to Bean? Or is it just, man, I need him to wreck or slide off track or do something silly so I can catch him?
Without Bean making a mistake, it's over. I mean, he's out to a 10, 11, 12-second lead, depending on where they're at on the track and what scoring loops are in. It's, barring a massive mistake from him, he could probably clutch it from here on out.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. And he has been so consistent on road courses. When we go there in RSR or Arc Evolution, and some of the other series that we've run in there with him, he is, when it comes to road courses and restrictor plates, this guy is clutch. There is no doubt about it. Ryan Bean's one of the
hang on a
best
second,
out
Ryan.
there.
I'm getting word. Check on Nolan. See if we can find him, get the monitor up from him. I believe he had a little off-track incident there.
All right, let's go back to him here and see if we can't go. Yeah, let's go back here in the ERN replay booth and see if we can find out exactly what took place there. David, good eye. Just gets a little wide, hits that turtle.
Oh, he did a good job locking it down and minimizing it.
Yes, that could have been much, much worse, because I think that was the same point there, David, where Nolan Potter was trying to come back on course, and Jerry Colbert and Mark Thibodeau went off course. So that was a great job keeping it off. But talk about what the viewers might be seeing there. We call them turtles in racing. The ridges there where the track, where that white line meets the grass, you'll see that light gray strip. What is that, and how can that be detrimental to the racing?
You'll see them, that's gray. There's some, it's like in Charlotte, you'll see the red and the white stripes and then the blue turtles behind it. Most of the time the curbing's okay. You get any more past the curbing and they're just like, I don't know how tall, 18 inches, 20 inches, just jumps essentially.
Yeah.
That just to stop you from going out and cutting the course any more than you already are going off the curb, and they will ruin your night.
Yeah, and you saw that from Nolan Potter's perspective there. He just got a little too far into it. They're there for you to use a little bit of it. Like David said, 12 to 18 inches of it. But you go any further than that, and it's testing your ability to keep your car going straight, much less keeping it going fast, because these guys, they want to use every inch of the track. I had a good friend of mine that was trying to teach me a year or so ago on road coursing. He said, Ryan, the wider you go, the faster you're going. The more the track you're using, the faster you're going through corners. Like you see the 31 of Casey Kuntz right there. He's slinging that thing out there. He is trying to make up on every 10th of a second he can on the first place Ryan Bean. And he's just hoping he makes a slight mistake so he can get up there. Those turtles can be your best friend or your worst nightmare. It just depends on how you use them.
10-4. Maybe the guys out in the replay truck can help us out here. I believe we had an incident maybe a lap or two ago with Fitzpatrick Jr. and Ryan Bean. I don't know if they've got together, if Fitzpatrick got a turn in front of Ryan, but had some radio transmission coming through the race chatter, and
Okay, let's take a
said-
quick look. We're on board with Junior. See him get off track right in front of the leader. Wow, that was close. That could have been disastrous right there, Dave. That's what we were talking about earlier, was it not?
Yeah, it's not always going to be your fault if something happens. I mean, you got to watch out for you're racing another 10 other guys out here, so
Oh, man.
their misfortune could be yours as well.
Yeah, and that could have been, if that was another 5 or 6 feet, which equates to probably another 10 miles an hour, once he hit that wall, that could have bounced him further out in the track, and Ryan Bean would have had nowhere to go, and he would have just made contact, and then guess what? That's the opportunity that Casey Kuntz in the 31 is looking for. He needs either Ryan to make a mistake, which I don't think is going to happen at this point, or he needs something else to come in and happen to make sure Ryan slows down. Because Ryan, as you guys saw, a great shot right there. As Ryan was going into turn 1, Casey was coming out of the final turn, coming down the straightaway, which equates to a very long amount of time. So these guys are coming down to 4 laps to go, and I don't think anything can be done short of a miracle here that Ryan Bean does not win this race, but he doesn't have any lap traffic ahead of him. He's been running this track flawlessly tonight. So let's just see. Click off 3.5 more laps. This thing will be over and in the books, our first road course here with the U.S. Legends Open Series.
Yeah, the only thing that could be playing in anybody's favor here is really testing his mental toughness here. You know,
Yep.
You've been out front for, I believe, what are we on, lap 22 laps now by yourself, not really racing anybody. At some point, your mental toughness comes into test here of just making sure you consistently hit your marks. You're not racing anybody, you're racing yourself. You just have to be consistent, hit the marks every time. And, there's been a few races, not many, not very rarely do I get that lucky to be out by that much, but every now and then you get lucky, and it's hard to keep that focus lap in and lap out, just turning laps.
Yeah, you're right. And let's go back and take a look and see. We may have another incident with Fitzpatrick Sr. this time in the 48. Let's go back and take a look. He's been involved in a few of them tonight, so that car may be hard to control and hard to handle going up through that elevation change. Like father, like son, just loses it right there and nowhere to go. But that car is still drivable. Hey, I'll give it to him.
Yeah, and great props on him of getting it fired right back up
Absolutely.
and getting it off, because that was a dangerous spot to be sitting. It's blind hill.
It's a blind curve.
Guys would
yeah.
have come over. Yeah, that could have been really bad for a lot of people.
It is. And these guys are doing a good job, but Will Brinkley is closing the gap on Casey Kuntz less than a second. So I don't know if it's tires. Oh, and Casey
there goes
Kuntz
Casey.
loses.
I wonder if he got caught looking in the mirror there and noticed.
I think he did. I'm going to tell
saying
you.
what you just said.
Yep.
You picked it up, and I wonder if he got caught looking in the mirror there, going off into one.
Yep, and it happens to every single one of us. David has had it happen. I've had it happen. And now Casey Kuntz. And that car is a handful as we sit there and we watch it again lose it a little bit.
Broadcaster's curse. I done it. Why I shouldn't have picked it.
Casey, it's
hopefully,
David's
no,
fault.
no, I didn't do it, Casey. Hopefully, when he goes back and watches this, he does. I'm sorry, Casey. I'm sorry.
We have taken the white flag right here, folks. Brought to you by Potter County Diggers and Fox Hill Lawn Care. Check them both out on Facebook and YouTube. Guys, this is the man, the myth, the legend, your road course ringer, Ryan Bean in that 28 Dell Lives inspired machine. You see a good-looking mug on the tailgate of that car. He is going through it, and he has made this look like child's play tonight as he hits that top elevation change where so many drivers have struggled tonight, but to him, been a piece of cake.
I mean, he has just stunk up the show tonight. I mean,
Oh, yeah. But I got to say this. Will Brinkley behind him, 17 seconds, but then another 23 seconds back to Kevin Dowd, and then another 15 seconds back to Nolan Potter. That's just a fourth place. And
Yeah,
Ryan
and
Bean
Ryan
just
Bean
took
takes
the
it.
checkered flag, made it look easy. That's 2 wins on the season for him, 2 in a row, mind you. He won last week in Nashville. He won tonight at Lime Rock Park. Will Brinkley won, Ryan Bean 2. The rest of the field, you got some catching up to do. But this is going to get interesting as we are going through the field here real quick. A lot of these guys, and Mark Thibodeau right there. Man, I mean, it's just been a challenging track for so many drivers. And we're watching Jerry Culver. All these guys come across the line right now. Casey Kuntz, probably the worst luck of anybody tonight. Runs 25 of 26 laps flawlessly. Does a great job. And all of a sudden has nowhere to go. Makes just a little bit too much goose in turn 1. Goes off. And tough break. Tough break. So we're going to sit here and watch Ryan Bean on the cool down lap come back up to the start finish line and burn it down if he's got anything left in that car to do it.
I don't know how much tires he's got left to be able to burn down.
Probably got slicks with about maybe 1 millimeter of tread left. You hear that, the RPMs, that little 1200cc motor going rat-a-tat-tat. That thing is about to blow, but he don't care because this is his second win. He'll just call his sponsor up and get another couple motors for next week. Speaking of next week, as we watch and wait for these guys to get collected up, we have a very interesting and nostalgic track of history coming up next week on Monday night for the U.S. Legends Open Series, South Boston. David, what do you think about that one, brother?
Like you said, that's got, the history to it. It's going to be great to watch these guys battle it out there. That's just one of those super late model tracks that you see everybody talks about. If you're up in that area, you have to go when they're racing. People go out of their way, make trips just up there to watch racing. So it's going to be nice to go up there with the guys and watch them put on the show again.
Yeah, it will. You're absolutely right, it will. Well, hey, I don't want to bring this up live on the air, but I feel I'm obligated to, David. I need you to go into Discord general chat and look at the last message posted by league owner Rusty Modesty that was unable to partake in the race tonight. I'll let you read it.
Oh, yeah, Rusty throwing me under the bus there. Thanks a lot, Rusty. I'll remember that next week when you're here. So appreciate that one. I'll make sure I pick you next week, Rusty.
Just so everybody knows what's going on out there, Rusty Modesty just posted, "It's David Edwards' fault. Sorry, Casey Kuntz." Well, that's just the way we like to do it here, folks. We're going to take a quick commercial break, but we'll be right back with your top 3 podium finishers before we close it out tonight. We'll be right back, folks.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to Lime Rock Park, right here with the U.S. Legends Open Series. I'm Ryan Ezel, and beside me is David Edwards, as always. It's time to go talk to some of these drivers and see how their perspective was. A surprising Kevin Dowd finishing in 3rd place with a little tough luck from Casey Kuntz. Nolan Potter and some of the drivers that started in front of him, he did a great job, did exactly what was asked of him to get out there, be consistent. So let's see if we can't get a word with him. Yo, Kevin Dowd, Ryan and David up in the ERN booth. You got a copy, buddy?
I sure do. How are you guys?
Man, I am great. How are you, brother?
I'm good now that that's over with.
Well, that's something that we need to talk about because it has been, we're sitting here watching so many different storylines unfold. We saw, it looked like it was going to be the Ryan and Will show all over again. And then Will started dropping back. And Casey Kuntz going up there trying to challenge for the win. And then on the last lap, has some troubles. And Nolan having troubles. And you are Mr. Consistency coming out with the podium finish tonight. What do you think about these road courses, and how does that play into your strategy getting into the top of the points?
I don't like road courses in in Cup and other like ARCA, but in these cars it's kind of fun and I enjoy it. So bring them on.
Yeah, so you guys go to South Boston next week. Little Boston action. Are you looking forward to that track? What's your experience with it? Is it something that you have marked on your map or what?
I'm not used to it in this car, but super lates we ran and modified, so I'm not sure. I got to do some practicing.
Well, brother, I think you drove a hell of a race tonight, from Coudersport, PA, if I'm saying that right. Is it Coudersport?
That certainly is.
All right. Well, at least I can read normal English tonight. You put on a hell of a show tonight. I don't know that anybody was going to have anything for the road course ring or Ryan Bean, but you guys put on a great show tonight with local cautions only. You couldn't afford to make a mistake, and you didn't. So congratulations on your top 3 finish. Before we let you go, any shout-outs you want to throw out to anybody? I'm going to turn the mic over to you.
Oh, definitely, Rusty, for putting this on, you guys for broadcasting, and Ryan Bean for the help today with the setup and the practicing, and Casey for running out of fuel when I made the podium. So.
Awesome. Hey, it takes all kinds, brother. Everybody's got a race to win. Well, congratulations again. We look forward to seeing you guys next week in South Boston, and have a great week, brother.
You also.
All right. Well, that was your third place finisher right there, Kevin Dowd. Doing a good job, but let's bring up the other guy that in the beginning of the race, I think everybody thought it was going to come down to the Ryan and Will show. So let's talk to second place, and I think David has him right now.
Hey, Will, it's Ryan and David up in the ERM booth. You got me?
I got you. Can you hear me?
10-4, I got you, man. Well, another good showing tonight out here on the road course. What were your thoughts on the night?
Yeah, man. I worked hard on this one. I thought I'd have been a little closer to Ryan than what I was, but road courses just aren't my thing. But it was fun. We just didn't quite have enough for him, but we enjoyed it.
That's good. It's good. You didn't keep the trend going of losing it, early in first couple corners. So that was nice to see. You got that one wrangled in for this week. So South Boston next week. What are your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, really excited for South Boston. I don't know if y'all could tell or not, but I missed a shift going into one and about got it sideways. So I almost kept the trend going, not intentionally.
Yeah, you almost did. Yep.
But super excited for South Boston. That's one of my favorite tracks. I run that all the time in the Advanced Legends series. So yeah, I'm definitely ready to stay going left. That's more in my field of expertise.
That's good. I mean, you couldn't tell it tonight. I think Ryan was in a class of his own. I mean, you held your own there in second. Had a little help from Casey running out of fuel there in the last lap, but I think y'all had a good battle shaping up there for the last couple laps. You ran him down at one point. I think you were about 5 seconds behind, and you ran him down. So, you may prefer going left, but I would have to say you got the left and rights going tonight pretty well.
I appreciate it. Thank you, man.
Before we let you get out of here, turn the mic over, let you give anybody any thanks or sponsors, anybody you want to talk to.
Just shout out to ERN for broadcasting this. Love what y'all do. Shout out to Ryan for dominating the field, giving us something to chase for the next road course race. And then again, shout out to Rusty for putting this deal on. This is a fun thing, but he's going to be here next week. He can't be skipping out on races.
That's right.
Yeah. He was out there watching tonight. We had him in the chat here talking to us. So, well, Will, like I said, you started second, finished second. Couldn't be more consistent considering what Ryan put on the field tonight. So, look forward to see you next week at South Boston.
Thanks, guys. Y'all take it easy.
All right now. Well, You heard it right there from your second place finisher. Will Brinkley did a great job tonight. You know, the guy's about as consistent as they come. Between him and Ryan Bean, you don't get a whole lot more consistent than that. So it's interesting to see how the next 12 weeks, or excuse me, 11 weeks play out in this 14-week season they have here at the U.S. Legends Series. We go to South Boston next week. We go shortly right after that. And you have to forgive me here. I'm trying to pull the schedule up. Here we go. We go to South Boston. Then we go Thompson Speedway, Myrtle Beach, Charlotte Legends Oval Track, WeatherTech Laguna Seca. Ooh, that one's going to be a fun one. Concord, Charlotte Legends Road Course, USA Speedway, Langley, Summit Point, and we end the season October 11th at Oxford Plains. So I cannot wait to see how this thing plays out. But before that, let's get our winner of tonight's race in here and see if we can get a word with him. Yo, 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 Ryan Bean. This is Ryan and David up in the ERN booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. What's up, guys?
What's happening, brother? Well, I don't know what's happening with us, but hell, you put on a clinic, my friend.
Yeah, I all my years of racing in this game, I had never felt that one with the car. I don't know what was happening there, but I mean that race flew by. We were perfect, hit our marks clean. I turned off the relative and the virtual mirror thing, so I guess that probably helps. But at the end of the day, man, I love this track and car combination. I never thought I'd like it, but that was a lot of fun.
Well, you made it look easy out there. It's just it's so unique to watch you guys get in these cars have such a high power to weight ratio. Try to go out and run some of these tracks that you see, you know, the racing vets, the stock cars, the IMSA series, the GT3s, and go out there in these little fast, wound up high RPM cars and do what y'all do. But we saw so many things tonight, Ryan. We saw cars that struggled with just barely missing a turn, and it cost them their race. We saw guys barely calculating their fuel mileage wrong and missing it on the last lap. We saw so many different aspects, and you said that you were one with this track and this car combination tonight. Tell us, for the viewers out there, have you spent a lot of time on this track in other cars, or is this fairly new in this situation? Because this is a pretty short road course. For a road course track, it's pretty short in distance. Is this something that's fairly new to you, or have you ran several laps maybe just in other cars?
When I first got on iRacing, I was really into the road racing part of it because, NASCAR had all those games, but there was really never a road racing game for me, and this was it. And I remember just doing Miatas at this track. That's where the rookie series always was. It was before Charlotte Roval was really a thing. So they were pretty much always here. And I didn't put down a lot of laps. I just, I kind of know how the track works. I mean, it's like 6 rights and 1 left. So, I mean, it's not that it's super easy, but it's not super difficult for a road course. And I think it's a good stepping stone if you're trying to get into road course racing,
Sure.
is to learn how to not only turn left. I mean, really, you're really only turning right here.
Yeah.
Left-hander here is pretty simple. You just hug the apex the entire way, and then that's what it is. But other than that, yeah, I mean, you got to be perfect here. Hit your marks. These curbs are dangerous, but they can help. I stayed away from them. I wasn't going to lose the race like that. But yeah, you need a lot of laps here to really perfect it.
Well, we actually talked about it. We talked about the curbs here and how they can be a driver's best friend and worst nightmare all in the same turn if you're not careful, and you did a phenomenal job. Absolutely flawless race, 26 laps with 0 mistakes. That gets you 2 wins, 2 in a row, mind you. We had a win last week, even though it was a drag race to the finish line, but tonight it wasn't even close. An 18-second gapathon on Will Brinkley. Will came into tonight with the points lead, but if my dumb Hickville calculations are correct, that should give you the points lead going into next week's race in South Boston. So tell me what it is that you're looking forward to in the next coming weeks as we go back to some of these short Legends tracks throughout the East Coast there. Have you had that circled, or is this something that you're struggling with? Or tell us what your thoughts are about South Boston.
Yeah, South Boston, typical short track, flat, and it's going to be elbows out. But I expect the same, criminals up front. Will. I know Will's going to be probably the guy to beat. He's damn good here, and even today, But I talked to him last week. He said he never turned right before in this game.
Oh, it's crazy.
And, I come into the practice session and he's P1. I'm like, well, damn, I was kind of hoping I can get a break or something. But no, even today, right before the start of the race, I was like, man, if he gets in front of me, he's going to block and this is going to be difficult. But at the end of the day, he did amazing for somebody who, has never done a road course before. And that just shows you the kind of racer he is. And I fully expect to have a nice battle with him. And, I mean, there's other people too. Nolan Potter's picking it up. Casey Kuntz picking it up. He was catching me there at the end. Kevin Dow can surprise you. He did today. Zab can surprise you if he doesn't take me out. But other than that, man, we got a really good group of guys here, and it's a bunch of fun tracks coming up. But again, I always have the road courses circled because they're a lot of fun. But South Boston's gonna be just as fun.
Oh, yeah. And you know what? Stepping back for just a second before we let you go, there is nobody that's more dangerous on the track to be with than Kevin Zabladell.
Oh, yeah.
I've known this guy personally for about 18 years, 17 years now. He's just as bad when you're in a real car going down to the favorite on cue to get a styrofoam fountain drink that just looks like Nolan Potter's car. He's just as dangerous behind the wheel as he is on a simulated track in a Legends car. So, Zab, that's for you, buddy. For all the digs you've ever thrown at me and David, we just threw one back, baby. What you going to do? The problem is he probably knows where I live by now. So,
jeez.
all right, man. Well, congratulations on a win tonight. Go celebrate with your team. But before we let you go, man, throw all those shout-outs, sponsor plugs, anything you want to say. The mic is yours, my friend.
Yeah, first foremost, Rusty putting on this league. Sucks he wasn't here tonight, but I know he'll be here next week, and looking forward to seeing him again. You guys up in the booth again, top-notch broadcast as always. Can't wait to watch this back. I want to thank Kevin and Casey there. That we were all in a chat together. They're all just keeping each other calm. Sucks for Casey, but good for Kevin. They're both picking up speed, and hopefully us three can run the league here soon.
That's awesome. Well, man, I am proud of you. You put on another dominating finish tonight. So go celebrate this week. Get ready for South Boston because next week is going to be another fun one. So have a great week, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you soon, my brother.
Yes, sir. Have a good one, guys.
All right. You too, man. Well, David, that was our top three finishers right there. And I don't know if I'm more excited about what we just saw or what's coming next week at South Boston.
Yeah, it's becoming a habit to talk to Will Brinkley there and Ryan Bean. So that makes it third week in a row we've talked to them. So it'll be nice to see what happens next week at South Boston.
Yep. Well, before we get to that point, folks, we've got to tell you how tonight finished up. And let's see if we can get the results pulled up here. And we will do it this way. Right now, we've got Ryan Bean finishing P1 in the 28 car. Will Brinkley in the 47 finishing outside of him in second place. Third place, rounding out your podium finish, Kevin Dowd in the 98. Nolan Potter in that 34 styrofoam paint, finishing fourth, and fifth with a very respectable, great finish for the Pennzoil 27, Mark Thibodeau. Sixth, Kevin Zabladell, the home wrecker of wreckers, in the 17. David, take us the rest of the way through the field.
Jared Culver finishing seventh in the 13. Harold Rothery had his couple incidents, bringing home an eighth place. Casey Kuntz scored with a ninth place finish there after his running out of fuel there after taking the white flag. I hate it for him, man. He was coming. It was going to be nice to see him have a top three finish.
Yep.
I believe that's Robert Fitzpatrick Sr. in the 48, finishing 10th. And rounding out the field was Robert Fitzpatrick Jr. in the 3, finishing 11th.
That's right. Well, folks, that is how your field finished up. This has been an exciting night from Lime Rock Park. Cannot wait for you guys to join us next week, 9:30 Eastern, right here on YouTube, Evolution Racing Network. We hope you guys enjoyed all the action tonight as much as we did. My name is Ryan Ezel from Evolution Racing Network, and always by my side is David Edwards. We want to say thank you. Have a great week, and we'll see y'all on the flip side.